Tripping on the beat. That's it.
That's right, you're listening to Acid by FootboxG. I'll see you guys in just a few seconds with, of course, today's guest, FootboxG. Yeah, man, bounce to this. This is BeatBaksho. Yeah.
Acid, dripping on the beat.
That's right. What's up? This is BeatBaksho, of course. Today we're here with the 28th episode of Beats with Baksho. My God, super dope. We have FootboxG in the house. And of course, we'll be bringing him in just a little bit. I'm sorry, I usually say we'll be here at this time, but there's a bit of up and down, things happen. It's just how it is. Yeah, but you guys are awesome. Whoever is here, whatever you have done to be here, you're awesome. And of course, I hope you're home and I hope you're safe. You're doing the right things. And of course, staying safe. That is what we all want to do right now. The world's kind of in a bad episode. This is the common dialogue that I'm giving. A horrible episode of a bad season on Netflix or something. Netflix is awesome, by the way. I'm just talking about the series. And yeah, that's what's happening, the pandemic. But anyways, stay positive. All right, so today we have FootboxG. Quickly, আমি বাংলায় বলছি যারা এখানে আছে যারা দেখছে এই মুহূর্তে তোমরা সবাই জোস বলে রাখি শোতে at the end of it all তোমাদের কাউকে না কাউকে আমি আনবো এখানে and you can ask a question to FootboxG in English. I'll explain what's up. Of course, we have FootboxG from Belgium and more details coming in soon. He is obviously the Belgian champ from 2018. A lot more stuff. Those who do not know who he is, check out the description below. But of course, you want to know he's here live. Any questions and stuff, you can ask him. You want to follow him if you haven't already, you can definitely do that later on from watching this podcast. And of course, the information in the description below. So without further ado, let's bring the Belgian champ, FootboxG.
Yo. BeatBaksho, how are you?
Man? I'm good, man. How are you? You tell me.
I'm good. Drinking tea, living good life.
Nice. That's good, man. Positivity is what we need. And the tea takes it. The tea takes it all the way.
He takes it.
What time is it in Belgium at the moment?
At the moment, it's 4 p.m. 20. 4 p.m. 20.
Okay. And which city are you in Belgium? I didn't ask you that earlier. Sorry.
For the moment, I'm in Brussels.
Okay, Brussels. Man.
Yeah.
One thing I know it's kind of like we always want to travel and do stuff, and traveling just it's beautiful, it's magical. but some of my favorite artists, I would say people I've grown seeing and reading stories of, are from Belgium, of course. And I know for a fact in most of the places, your walls are covered with some of the work by the artists as well. And that's so amazing, man. It just feels so
It
good.
really feels good that you're like that you're connected with the Belgian thing in a way. This really means something, especially for us because we're artists, you and me. So it's cool.
Yeah. It is, man. It is. But I don't think there's anything more positive than seeing someone's artwork like this and in full display. Well, we'll talk about that later on. But
Yeah.
FootboxG, welcome to Beats with Baksho. I've always wanted to have you here. Feels really good having you. So tell us about what's up. What are you doing right now? I will ask you a lot of questions, but first question is, how is this world treating you at the moment with this pandemic and stuff? How's tough in Brussels and in Belgium?
You mean with our health situation? You mean, right?
Yes, the COVID-19, and I hope you're safe and everything's fine on your end.
Yes. For the moment, Belgium is actually doing pretty fine. We're all the time getting better and better and even more safe, but it's still going in a slow way, if you know what I mean. Like we're
Right.
really careful with the situation, but that's good anyway because we're aiming to the pure freedom again.
Definitely, man. Can't wait for that to happen. It just
Yeah,
needs to
me neither.
happen. So many days, man.
Yes.
Anyways, man, this is awesome. We have a lot of people already writing in. Yeah, there are some funny stuff that I'll be talking about soon. Okay, we have Knife who's saying, finally, he's here. And I'm sure you'll love the build down. And welcome, FootboxG from Knife himself. He's saying, what's up? What's up?
Hi, guys.
And okay, okay. So we have this. It's not a running joke. It's like a funny. It's a weird similarity. So we have one beatboxer here. For some odd reason, whenever we see him, we just go like, "What's up, FootboxG?" Because you guys kind of, not entirely, look closely similar. I'll show you a picture of him. I'm trying to get him here.
Okay.
It's gonna be amazing.
Now I'm
if
curious.
both of you guys kind of talk. And
Hold my tea.
so yeah, and well, I hope he's around. And in fact, one of the things he did at one of his routines while he was battling, he goes, "I'm FootboxG."
Really?
No. Then he goes, "No, I'm kidding." And he goes, "I'm kidding," or whatever. And his name is Asmania, and he ends up changing the name. It's like to the audience, it's like, I know you keep saying this. This is me, man. That's him. But it's fun. It's fun. It's good.
Nice. I didn't know
good
that.
humor. Yeah, I'll send you the stuff. I'll show you. But yeah. The first question. It's a very typical question, very radio-like question. Is
Excited.
oh, you have a fan in the house? My favorite
Wow,
beatboxer.
that's so nice to read. Thank you, Shaira Khan. Really means a lot to me. Hi, Pyro.
And yeah, Mir
And
Samia,
also, hi,
everyone's here.
Mir.
All right, so for Bakshi, the first question is, how did it all start for you? The beatboxer. That's you.
Well, I started beatboxing since I discovered an application on my iPod Touch when I was playing some music applications. So those were actually kind of random downloaded. But by accident, I downloaded a beatbox application. I was like, oh, this looks kind of fun. So I tried it out, and there were like the typical basics covered in buttons. So I tried out the buttons, and there were like a basic kick, basic hi-hat, basic snare.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, this is cool stuff. So I tried to copy it, and at that moment it worked. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And I found out that somebody at my school, his name is Logan. Big shout out to Logan, by the way. He stopped beatboxing now, but he's still producing. Still producing music, I mean. Well, there were some people that asked me like, hey, Tim, is it true that you started beatboxing? I was like, sort of. I don't know if I started with it or something. But then they showed me Logan and his beatbox skills. And I was like, wow, this stuff is impressive. Because he was able to do drum and bass and techno, and I was like, wow, what is this? So yeah, then when I went home, I was like, okay, maybe it's not my thing to beatbox, but it's his. But I'm still curious how far you can go with this art. So I went on YouTube and I typed in beatbox battle. Yeah, just beatbox battle. Those were the words I typed. And
Right.
all of a sudden I saw Skiller versus Alem battling in the World Championship
The
final. And I was
iconic
like,
battle.
yeah, the iconic battle. And that was one of the first videos that I saw people beatbox where I saw people beatboxing, and I didn't
And it
understand a
had to
single
be that
sound.
one. It
I didn't understand a single
your audio
sound of
just went off.
Skiller, neither of
Can
Alem.
you
I
hear me?
was like, yes, hello, can you hear me?
Hi. Can you hear me? Is the audio clear?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Oh, sorry. Go back. Yeah, go back to the Skiller thing. It just went cut
No
off
worries.
in the middle. Sorry about that. Peace.
So, don't worry. I was saying that when I saw those two artists beatboxing, I was like, how is this even possible? And why are they able to do this? And why can't
Yeah.
I do this yet? I was like, let me figure this out. And then
Right.
now I'm here.
This is so cool, man. Like, you know, coming across a video where someone's just going like something like that. That would be something. But you came across two of the greatest beatboxers this generation has seen, giving the fastest, the most technical beats, and I'm sure you're like, what the fuck?
Like I said, I didn't understand anything. Anything.
My
Those
God, that's
were
absolutely
impossible to me.
amazing, man. But I will move on to a more advanced question based on that. You mentioned Logan, sorry, a while
Logan.
back, and someone said, "Wow, you're Wolverine as your children."
No, it's not him. Imagine.
Oh man, that would be amazing. It's like,
No,
hey,
no,
so
no.
meet Logan. Hey. Hey, what's up?
No.
So that question would be, before I read one of the questions that came also in the comment section. That's connected, by the way. Good question, Age Age. I don't know how to pronounce your name at the moment. So when you saw something as sick as that, as deep as the type of beatboxing, probably I'm sure someone like Dougie Fresh never expected to do. Like the old school.
Yeah.
Suddenly Skiller, Alem, Alexinho, and so on and so forth. Everyone doing everything recently. How did you develop as a beatboxer? And did you aim on becoming that's the type of beatboxing I'll do, or was it something that sparked? Okay, you know what? Let me start with the elements. I'll go somewhere whenever it takes me. How did it progress?
Well, I kind of started developing myself as a beatbox artist by just watching all of the videos on the internet, and I was so excited that I want to learn all of the sounds that they were making. So I was like, okay, what is a kick drum? What is a snare? What is a hi-hat? Oh, there are multiple hi-hats. Okay, let me learn them. Like everything that I just could learn in a way, I just did it. And no matter how time it would take, I just wanted to do it because I loved it so much. And when I learned all the sounds and tried to imitate the rhythm and stuff, I was like, okay, that's cool. But now I got stuck a bit to get to the next step. And at that moment, a guy named Devo, a Belgian beatboxer, really famous in our country, he came to my school just to do a performance because it was a day of the student. So people were able to do a showcase and stuff, just singing and just there are some people playing guitar, some people were singing, and I was beatboxing. But exactly. But right before me, Devo came to my school. I was like, "Oh, it's him, the guy from Belgium's Got Talent." He did an awesome job, by the way. And it was at that moment that he was doing new things and at an whole other level. So I was like, okay, I should connect with him and ask him if he can connect me to his community, because I also want to learn those things. It's just in my genes, And at that moment I looked for him on Facebook and Instagram and stuff, and I was like, hey, yo, You were on my school. You did an awesome job. Can you integrate me in your community?" And he said, "Yes, of course." And at that moment, I learned, I met new beatboxers,
Mm-hmm.
and because we were heading to events and stuff like the Belgian Championship and some side events, and just by
Which year
watching,
was this, by the way? Which year was this?
it
Like
was
which time?
2014,
Okay,
2014,
right.
um, or even 2013. Sorry, and yeah, at that moment I discovered the real beatbox battles, the real events, and I head to them and I tried to participate, and I immediately got the image of like, okay, this is how I need to do it. But
Right.
nowadays I'm actually still figuring out like, okay, what if I go to this direction? But I already have the picture in mind how I want to be. So it's cool.
Right. Man, that's dope. And there's so much that has been happening. And it's not it's been that 6 7 years you've been beatboxing. Am I saying it
Yeah,
correctly?
I'm beatboxing for 7 years now, almost
Wow,
8.
that's dope. And um it's how should I put it? One of the more important things, like there's a conflict. Okay, I'll beatbox. Should I battle? Do I need to battle? That's one thing. And then there's this thing. I will beatbox as I want to and kind of develop myself as I go and probably try it with new music. There are a couple artists, beatboxers there. And then you have with guitars, like Skiller did one, for example. And
Hmm.
then there's battle. But do you feel? I'm going to go in next onto your, of course, achievements as the champion of the Belgian scene, and later on middle school and so on and so forth that happened. But do you feel that it developed you as a beatboxer that you are now when you went and battled, or it just happened, or do you feel it's necessary?
Yeah, because of the battles, I felt the pressure on stage. Because when you're on stage for an audience, it's very different than battling. Because
Right.
when you're battling, you're doing so much more than just performing for the audience. But
Mm-hmm.
I think as a beatboxer, you really don't need to battle. It can be interesting to go to battles and even to participate just to discover yourself as an artist. It can be quite
Right.
interesting, but you really
Right.
don't need to, because the musicians nowadays also don't battle on stage, for example. So no, you don't need to. Of course not.
Okay. So it's a personal choice, to be honest.
It's a personal choice, yes, but it would be a wise choice if you battle in the beginning, I think, and after all, you just go directly to the artist career that you actually want. But I like to battle anyway, so I'm gonna keep doing it.
All right, well, there you go. But I think how should I put it? It's kind of like a adrenaline rush, like yeah, just having that moment
Yeah,
and trying to
um,
develop skills, right?
yeah, because of the competition, you
Yeah,
want to level up and stuff. So that's it really puts you out of the comfort zone. And because I'm a really competitive person,
right.
I really like this energy. So yeah.
That's super dope. And you know I asked this question because a lot of people ask this, and the scene here is still new. It's been happening around the subcontinent, but in Bangladesh, it's a new scene, and the beatboxers, the beatbox Bangladesh community, it's still trying to
Mhm.
learn and go with it. And I'm sure hopefully we'll reach somewhere someday soon. Okay, so we have a few questions from the people who are already
Yeah.
watching the podcast. So, first question that was asked was, I have a question to Foodbox. What do you hate, love about the new generation beatboxers? Any
Ooh,
perspective or thought you have?
I don't hate anything. Let make it that clear. But
Okay.
there are some things. For example, I really love the way how the new generation is putting the new limits of beatboxing higher and higher, because they're
Right.
able to make the most craziest sounds. And I think like, what is this? But what I sometimes don't like is that they are so focused on the sounds and
Mm-hmm.
on the hype, that they forget the roots in the first place. That they forget what beatboxing is really like. Like for example,
Right.
it's not imitating or taking inspiration out of your favorite beatboxers, but actually just out of the fact that you're not able to make music with instruments, so you have to do it with all of your body. That's actually what beatboxing is. and some of the people forget the history of beatbox and the pioneers and stuff, and those people should be
Yes.
respected for life in a way. And the new generation, I'm not going to say that all of the new generation are not doing it, but I commit to all of the people who are not familiar with the beatbox history that they should check it out. It's very good for the most healthy inspiration as a beatboxer, because you know where it comes from, and that's a
Without a
whole
doubt.
different thing than just watching the most famous beatbox battles on the internet, for example. That's what I
Right,
think.
right. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, and thank you for mentioning that. I'm all for tapping on history. I'm like a huge sucker for it. And if someone asks me, what should I do? I'm stuck here. I'm like, dude, did you check what was at the back? Did you check what started this? Maybe you'd be like, I didn't think of it this way, because um, I I can't remember who this conversation was with. Probably Firebras, but there's old school beatboxing and the moment in the 90s and early 2000 is apparently called the middle school, and
Hmm.
now it's called the new school beatboxing. I don't know what
Yeah,
the next one's going to be called. The new school beatbox. I don't know, but still,
those will
um,
be always the same, but like from time to
different.
time, the people are just changing. New
Yeah.
school
Oh,
beatboxers
yeah.
nowadays will be in 10 years middle school or old school.
Yeah.
Depends.
Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Obviously. So the generation and the time will just stretch as it is. So we have other questions here as well. Let me quickly mention to everyone who's watching this, there are a lot of things you can ask FootboxG, and he also teaches beatboxing. So you can check out his website. I'll ask him in details about it.
Thank you.
But quickly, what I want to tell you is you can come to the podcast live. Means তোমরা আসতে পারবে এখানে ফুটবক্সের সাথে কথা বলতে podcasте. So any question that you have, do ask him. I'll probably bring you here and you can ask him that. One, two, tell us your favorite FootboxG moment. Maybe
Sorry.
something might happen and then we can pop up some interesting stuff. Also, a couple of announcements at the end. So what I want to ask when I mentioned middle school, I will talk about your solo as well, but you also ventured into the tag team side with Supernova.
Yes.
I absolutely loved, and I'm not sugarcoating this. That's a common word I'm using. The that you guys were going for it, but then the harmony happened. You guys were like you were doing the constant, and were you doing the constant? Was Supernova
Yeah,
doing the
it was me
constant?
who was doing the constant note, and it was
Yeah,
Supernova who was making variation with the lows.
that was just perfect. You're like dan dan dan. He's like dan dan, and I'm like, dude, and that was absolutely brilliant. And
I gotta admit that
yes,
I really had troubles by keeping the note because of the power on stage. I was like, ooh, almost fake. Oh,
yeah,
bit fake. Oh, that's correct now.
that's what I wanted to ask you here. First question is not how the tag team happened. That will be something I'll expect you to kind of explain. But the whole chemistry when you do a tag team, it's not easy. You're one sort of beatboxer, so is Supernova or whoever the individual is. How did this come together? That's one. And the question that I'll lead to was the GBB elimination, and of course, you guys became the vice champ. Was how the hell did both of you keep such a consistency in the entire elimination round? It was so good, and it was amazing. So let's start with how the tag team, came to.
Well, I gotta admit that actually Supernova brought me into the tag team idea because he wanted to perform at the Belgian Championship of 2018. I said, okay, let's go on with it. Um, and he taught me some tag team skills. Like, for example, you don't need to beatbox at the same time as a tag team, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you really need to focus on the space in between the two, in between the moments where there's silence. And
Right.
when there's silence, for example, you can, as an individual, you can place another sound, and the other tag team partner can play along with that. For example, if I'm doing something consistent in the silence, Nova can Nova can do some other sounds with it, and it really creates like a cool stereo effect, for example. It's hard to explain, but you can actually practice this with the loop station. Maybe
Okay.
you, like you said, you saw the elimination round, and I'm going to explain it like this, and it will be very weird to explain it on a
Just,
broadcast, but anyway.
just go ahead.
For
Just go ahead.
example,
Yeah.
when Supernova had the, I was waiting until he was finished with one, and after that I was able to do a. So you're
Oh.
creating
So,
the
oh.
like this, and it's a hard training, but you can actually train it on loop station by yourself if you have one.
Yeah.
RC505, RC202 doesn't matter, but yeah, were those ideas that Supernova showed to me, and I was like, okay, let's try to go out of our comfort zone and let's figure out what kind of beatboxer you are in a tech team and what kind of beatboxer I am. And
Right.
we found out that in a tag team as individual, I'm like the more technical guy, and I like to do high sounds. But Supernova is more the melodic guy who has good feeling for harmony, um, and he's like quite good with the low notes, and it already creates a good combination because together you're complete in a way. And then you try to figure out like, okay, what's the most easy part for you as a tag team beatboxer and stuff, and you compare, and then the routines will come just because of the style where you're talking about and because of the
Right.
freestyles you're doing at the moment.
So what's important, based on what you said, obviously, and I'm sure it's a given, is you need to know the strengths and weaknesses of both your sides.
Yes,
And as
exactly.
you mentioned, you're this type of beatboxer. Then you have Supernova doing his bit, and then you knew, okay, if I do a bit of the hi hats, he'll do this, and that's the counter and the count that timing
Yeah,
that we have. I think a lot of beatboxers, the new ones who are trying to understand, I understand its curiosity, and I'm sure all the beatboxers, including yourself, you've had this in the early days of FootboxG. Like, oh, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna jump into this, but you're like, oh crap, I don't know the old one. I need to develop that. Then I'll do this. But when it comes to tag team, you need to know if you're able to do execute something and respect to give the other person space. Is this how you guys practice? Is this how you find out, oh wait, wow, Supernova, can you do that again? I didn't know how to do that. Do you kind of exchange the sounds?
well, it depends. Like sometimes when we're practicing tech teams, we can come up with an idea, or it might be Supernova, or it might be me who is coming up with an idea, and we just try to figure out if it works. And as soon as it works, and we make a routine with it, or just a full composed song, after that's finished, we try to master it, just like an individual routine of your own. But then we, for GBB, because it's like the biggest stage, so it needs to be more than just the music. You also need to create um, the choreography. Like you need
Right.
to know, okay, I'm holding the mic on my left side. Supernova is
Yeah.
holding him to the right side. Is he going to stand on the left? Is he going to stay on the right?
Right.
Okay. As soon as we do this drop, are we jumping? No, maybe because it takes too much breath. Okay, let's do this position, this position. But at the same moment, you try to live in it by the true energy at that moment. It's difficult
Yeah.
to explain, but as a tech team, you also need to focus on how you're producing the music, not the fact that your tech team is doing this part of the routine, you are doing this part of the routine. No, it also it's about the strengths and the weakness, and also about, like I said, the choreography. You need to
Yeah.
know how he's going to walk, and you need to know it for yourself as well, because at that moment he's like it's like your partner on stage, not like somebody's doing it with you. It's like
Right.
your partner.
I can imagine that because I know what a lot of people face is like, I'm doing, and the other person's like, hey, I'm doing the same thing. No, you're not supposed to. An argument, argument, argument. But it's really important because you grow as a beatboxer and you're like, oh, wait, I get the time gap. Oh, that's when, that thing you mentioned, he does that and you do the other one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anyways, I will go to your solo side right now, but one quick question about the tag team now that we mentioned, because There was this. Shanghai Beatbox said, "Middle school is so harmonic and technical." Super. I agree that. I
Thank you,
agree with that.
Shanghai Beatbox. He's from Belgium, so big shout out to Belgium.
Shout out to the community. Shout out to
Yeah,
BBS. It's amazing.
I,
We check out some of the videos and stuff. Do check out the YouTube channel for BBS, by the way. The question
I
that I quickly wanted to ask was the first video that you mentioned. You went like was Alem and Skiller, and
yes.
you guys ended battling with them with UniTeam. And didn't you go like, oh my god, that's Alem. I'm battling Alem on stage. What the hell is happening right now? How was the moment for you when you're like, crap? Ugh.
Well, it was really fun because like those two people, like Alem and Alexinho, I have so much respect for them because those were the beatboxers I was watching when I was still developing myself, like in the most tough period. Um, and when we were actually on stage, it was kind of fun because I was like, oh, look who we have here on stage. And then I was just analyzing what they were doing. And after
Right.
that, yeah, you can say it. After that, they really smacked us. I really, I really had the vision like, okay, so they're doing this, and they know those things and those things. Okay, those are things where I should still work on, or maybe I can take inspiration out of their actions and this. And I already have a new idea because you're facing like a new achievement, right? So
Yeah,
yeah, it felt like
totally.
an achievement.
Totally, man. This is amazing, and it broadens your views. It makes you even better. It makes you understand things even better, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Wow, man! Did they just counter me with that?" And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't expect that." All right, so the Belgian champion 2018. How how did it feel? I know it's a very lame question, but you work your way up and you work hard, and boom, you're the national champ. How was the journey? Tell us about it.
Wow, frustrating sometimes because at my first Belgian championship, I saw like the big beatboxers like Big Ben, Supernova, and stuff, and they were first place, second place, and the years after Supernova took the title in 2016, and um, when I was just trying to level up, there was like the moment in 2016 where Slizzer was judging the Belgian Championship of 2016 when
Slither. Yeah.
yeah, when back when Supernova took it, and Slizzer came to me when Supernova was celebrating, and he said, "You're the next one." And at that moment, there was so much pressure that I was like, "Now I have to." Like, I didn't believe it at all, but when he said it, I wanted to make it true, right? So yeah, I just started, and after that I started, I still faced Supernova 3 more times in the finals, but not on Belgian
Wow.
championships, but other tournaments, and he
Yeah.
always won, and I was so frustrated that I really saw Supernova as my rival, like my big enemy. I was like, what's this? And right before the Belgian championship, he asked me to do tag team. I was like, but I was like, okay.
Dude,
So I was
not
like,
you.
okay. But yeah, it
Wow,
worked out
man.
pretty good. And yeah, at the Belgian Championship itself, I was just so prepared. Like, it might be arrogant to say it, but there was just no option that I could lose because I was so prepared. Like how I would stand, what routines I would use against this guy, what punchlines I've prepared, some extras, what outfit because I need to be comfortable on stage. Everything was so prepared. I just needed to be at that moment. But when the moment came that they announced it, that I became champion, I still couldn't believe it.
What- But it's amazing that it happened because it's this is a brilliant insight that I just got from you about how you said you faced Supernova at several times and 3 times, sorry, and then he asked you about the tag team. I understand the psychology because he's observing you the entire time, and you're trying to think he's your like your nemesis. He's like, I'm gonna beat this guy, and you guys turned out to have a brilliant tag team that you became the vice GBB champ. I think this is brilliant. And I think it's, how should I put it? For sportsmen, you say the sports people, you say sportsmanship.
Yeah.
For this, it'll be the beatsmanship or the beatswomanship, whatever. It's a good feeling. I think it's a
Yeah,
good
it's a
feeling.
nice feeling.
And it boosted you. I think because Slizzer's like you're next, and your opponent is like, can we do tag team?
Yeah, it was really like, what should I do? And I was even playing tactical in my head, like, okay, but I still need to win in solos.
No, I'm sure in your mind, like a movie, you're like, I get it. I'll beat you first, then we'll do the tag team. Oh man, everyone who's here, do send in your stuff. And look who's here. Shadow Sumo says,
Shout out, Simo. Big
"Man,
shout
what's
out
up?
to
What's
Team
up?
Big Ben Dutch. Shout out, Simo.
This is amazing. I don't know if Kim remembers me, but it kind of had I was like the feeble beatboxer in the thing, but we did a circle jam. Me,
Oh, yeah.
Shadows, me, Kim, Firebras, Dougie Fresh. I'm like, okay. No, sorry, Dougie Fresh wasn't there. That was D-Cross. Dougie Fresh came. I'm like, is this the dream? What's happening? Kim, big shout out to you, bro. Would love to have you on this podcast now that you can represent what's up. You have a fan here. Imtiaz is saying, you are my idol, my inspiration.
Wow. Big shout out to MTS. Thank you for your words, man. I will never forget those.
Imtiaz, if you want, you can come here on the podcast. Give me a buzz on the BeatBaksho inbox and tell me that you want to come on the podcast. I'll send you a link. You can ask a question to FootboxG. Today we'll have a short podcast, but let's make this like the best one. So do come in and send your stuff. There's a question for you. I do have other questions, but we do want to listen to what the viewers have to say and all the fans and the beatboxers. What's your worst stage experience? Good question. What would be your advice for getting rid of nervousness while performing?
Well, my worst stage experience was when I was developing myself to get to become Belgian champion. Like it was maybe a couple of months before I had a gig, like a showcase on an event with there was a headliner. We had a big famous Dutch rapper coming to Belgium, and I was like, oh, that's sick, okay. And I was performing right after him. And the host said, like, okay, guys, whenever the rapper is done, you can ask outside of the building for his autograph and for a picture and stuff. Okay. And of course, when it was my turn to beatbox, everybody went outside, and there were just 4 people, aka my family, and some 2 idiots who were doing this to me when I was beatboxing. I was like, and that was like a weak moment I had, and I just grabbed the mic and I put it, after 3 minutes of beatboxing, I put it back on stage. I was like, I'm done. Wanna go home.
Hey, don't take it in offense, but I think you need that experience.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to face that.
I'm glad that I have it, because now in this case I really would do totally different action. Like I know when I have the same experience again, I already know how it feels, and I also know how I should handle it, because like I saw in this question that Rafyun asked me, and that's just the worst moment when you're getting nervous. And I also saw the question like, what would be your advice for getting rid of nervousness while performing? Well, it's experience, but also the fact is, when you're on stage, just try to impress yourself and to enjoy yourself, because when you're just doing it for other people, sometimes it just might not work. But when you're on stage and you're just making fun for your own, or when you're just enjoying what you're doing, the best things will come out. It's also when you're standing on the shower and finding that new snare, right? It's the same on stage. But when you have more and more and more experience, the stage will become your friend, and you will act as a tag team.
Wow, that's a beautiful thing to say, man. I didn't think of it that way. The stage and you're like a tag team. You're like, hey, bro, I got you too. Wow, man. That reminds me. I'll do a quick memory share. So one was this band that I was in. I didn't perform that day, but I went and they performed. And the lineup for the concert was absolutely amazing. No audience. Absolutely no audience. I'm like, oh my God, this is bad. Because the bands who were there that day, 10 years later, they perform in front of 100,000. You know, that's a huge difference.
Yeah.
But I take this as one of the greatest moments for us because similarly, that's like you said, you know, 4 of your friends, families, and they were there. I've had the same thing with a band, my band, and we just got done. We were like, you know what? Screw this. Get down from the stage. We sat with the 7 or 8 people and we made a circle. We performed for them. And we were like, hey, what's your name? Where do you come from? And we became like, you know, like a personal thing. Believe it or not, I forgot most of them. You know, it was in a different city. 5 years later, we were performing and I'm like, okay, it's going to be a bad day today. It's raining. Guess who comes? I didn't even remember their faces. They came with their entire squad.
Oh
50,
man, yes.
60.
Yes.
And they were like, you guys were there sitting with us. We remember you.
Yes.
Let's make this happen. And the audience were like, oh my God. You know what? I will take that day to this day. This is amazing. This is absolutely
Man, yes,
amazing, man.
this is one of the most wonderful experience you can have as an artist, I think. Then you really feel the support for whatever you're doing.
Yeah, totally.
Nice,
totally,
man.
I'm getting this message constantly. Okay, he's saying, do the Harry Potter one. Then he goes like, do the Harry Potter one beatboxing. Do the Harry Potter beatbox thing.
I think they contacted the wrong guy. It's Kenozen who is doing the Harry Potter thing. I cannot do it.
What's up? What's up, man? This is FootboxG. Don't get confused.
Just to make clear, as an artist, I used to just to get some gigs. I used to cover songs as a beatboxer, but right after that I became Belgian champion. I stopped doing it. Like there was like one more time during the coronavirus that I really needed the money. That I said like, okay, let's do it, but like in my way. But as an artist, I want to try to make my own music, so I don't cover no Harry Potter, no Star Wars, no Billie Jean, no.
No, I think that's great because while you're doing your originals, you know, you're building yourself up and knowing yourself further. I think that's the best way to go. You can have 500 originals and you'll feel good about it. No, it doesn't matter what happens. And who was it? Jason Mraz, this musician, Ed Sheeran, all of them, they actually have so many songs besides their album you probably don't know. And then you check it out like, oh my God, what? They did this. Okay, so this is your fan who's, we just mentioned that you can come on the podcast. I hate my luck. I'm in desktop now. I have no webcam. But BeatBaksho, my question for my life, FootboxG, from where can I find all the sound tutorials for free and any tips for master to go to the next step? Well, he teaches, check it out on the website, but I believe there's a system. Do mention that, FootboxG. But while he's here, if you can drop a couple of advices with a couple of your sounds.
Yeah, so Amtiaz, don't worry, we'll meet very soon, I hope. I'm actually kind of sure, no matter how. But if you want to have some sound tutorials, you can always go to my YouTube channel, and there I explain some tutorials about some tongue basses, about some different snares, outward K, inward K, spit snare, and combos with it. You can find a lot of things on it. Plus, like BeatBaksho said, you can go to my website and you can ask me to whatever sound you want to learn, and then we can have a Discord chat, and we can figure out what your style is and stuff. I would be happy.
There you go. Check it out. So this is amazing because the community is so strong when it comes to trying to develop. This is amazing. So go visit footboxg.com, and if you're confused, just click on the link that's in the description below. Follow him. Do everything. It's right there. No confusion. Yeah, because look, 10, 20 years ago, we'd be like, how can I learn this? Oh man, he's my idol, or I love how she sings. The internet is making it happen. This is
the internet, yeah. The
right.
internet is something revolutionary for this.
It's amazing. So FootboxG is on the next screen. It's super awesome. Oh man. So Sanvi's here. He's saying thanks for giving those advices. Well, you can ask more.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
For from FootboxG. Quickly, let me tell you. We have FootboxG for maybe a few 15, 20 more minutes. He has work, so let's make this happen where you get to ask him questions personally right here on the podcast. So knock me on the BeatBaksho page inbox, and I will bring you here so you can ask FootboxG your questions. While they're coming and while the comments are coming, one thing I wanted to ask, and I think it's a common question that I ask a lot of beatboxers, because one of the biggest problems, and I will hit back on something you said, go back to the history, learn where it came from, where did beatbox originate. You mentioned that. I respect you said that, and I love the fact that, this is one of the advices that a beatboxer gives. My question, and it's kind of something that I want to break the mentality of, if I'm putting it right.
Yeah.
When I watch a beatboxer for the first time, XYZ, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, hey man, that's great. He just copied the other beatboxer. Nah man, that's copied. But if the person who's saying it knows what he's talking about, he can challenge. And that's a good conversation. Or else, if you're like, FootboxG did that sound, that's not how it works. Because something Maddox told me, he learned a sound from Gene. Gene later learned it from Maddox because Maddox modified it. And Gene's like,
Yeah,
I didn't think of it that way. Wow, there's that lip oscillation with the brr. I'm like, whoa. So my question to you, I'm sure you've been through this and you're like, nah, he's a copy. Nah, he's doing this. How do you deal with this? And how do you explain, or do you just, ignore the fact that, people are saying it and you just go ahead? How do you deal with these things?
Well, sometimes just to practice your beatbox, you can copy, and when you're copying, that's how I did it. When I copied other beatboxers just to practice my own beatbox and to get my own basics and stuff, I figured out how to do one of their sounds. But you can listen to beatbox, for example, and you can be in your head like, oh, it sounds cool, but it would be cooler if you do something just like this, and then something cool happens. And then you can, like you said, you can modify it so well that it becomes like your sound. For example, I never told it before, but it's the right time to do it here. When I was behind my computer desk watching the Mad Twins versus Spider Horse, I saw, it might be Gene. Yeah, I think it's Gene. I saw Gene doing some awesome things. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And I tried to do it, but I did it wrong. So I have now it's totally different, but it's now my sound in a way, or at least I can call it my some of my signature sounds, because I love to do it.
So you just G-fied what Gene did.
Yeah, and it's also with the split snare. Kim knows it. I already told him. Again, big shout out to Shadow Sumo, but it's because of Kim that I discovered the split snare and that I tried to learn it.
Okay.
And the split snare was like kind of different. I don't remember exactly how that I did. But anyway, just because you're taking inspiration out of other beatboxers by copying doesn't mean you're a copying beatboxer. Sometimes you need to do it just to get inspiration. It's just like singing a famous song, and then you have this idea like, oh, but I can do this for creating my own. That's how it works. But if you're really copying the full art, or like a fundamental that really tells nothing about you, then I can call it copying for sure.
Well, I think what I was just trying to point out, before I go to the question, Imtiaz, you know what, even if you don't have a webcam, as long as you have a phone, an Android or whatever phone, I can still get you here and you can still ask him through voice. So if you want this, quickly knock me so I can bring you here, because you have a lot of questions, as I can see. And we have around 10-15 minutes more before we end this podcast. So that was a good chance. and you can still talk to him. You don't have to come on the video if you don't want. But while he's coming through that, let me ask you a question. Wait, okay, before I read this, I wanted to point out something. You mentioned you heard Gene's sound. Then you tried doing it, and you made like a more modified version of what Gene did, right? Or just a bit different, if not, because your anatomy is different from Gene's. Your senses are different from
Just
Gene's.
a second, please.
Yeah, sure. And of course, so FootboxG is here. All right, so he's back again. Cool. Wait, what happened to the mic? Hello, Mike. Wait. Oh, I think we're both doing the same. So what I was asking was, how should I put it? You know, you face that thing. Oh man, you just did what Gene did, but they're not understanding the sound. You can't hear.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry about that. Anyways, as I was saying, the sound that you did is sharper than Gene's sound, and you know, okay, I'm doing more like Trung Bao, but he's like whatever he does. But
yeah, it's still different, but yeah.
the point that I'm trying to get is even Gene learned from someone, and that someone learned it from someone. Then he learned from someone. Yeah, that's how it goes. That's why you need to know the history, because the kick sound that you're making was done hundreds of times ago.
Yeah,
and it was different each time.
Of course. And the coolest thing is like to create your own sound without taking any inspiration out of a beatboxer, is just by knowing yourself and knowing, for example, sometimes I try to find my own sounds by listening to my favorite music and stuff. But then you can just discover that one sound where people think like, oh, this is a cool sound, I'm going trying to copy it, and then they achieve something else, and then it goes on and on and on and on.
Well, yeah, and guys, you heard it from FootboxG, man, and a lot of the beatboxers that are watching now started around the same time you did, and everyone has their style, timing, and growth like process. So you know, FootboxG has witnessed stuff that he's done. This is what he's sharing. I believe we have a lot to learn here. So let me take some quick questions. Imtiaz, while you're thinking, if you can come here and ask him the questions. Zuhair was asking this the whole time. Did you take music theory and knowledge and stuff? If you did, how did you use it and explore it?
Of course I do it. But I gotta admit that maybe in music theory, I'm still kind of ignorant if I need to compare myself to somebody who's going to music academy, for example, or conservatorium. So yeah, but I still try to take knowledge out of those things and those people. But also I'm trying to take knowledge out of, you know, I'm reading books. For example, the book I'm reading is The Power of Now. It's written by Eckhart Tolle, and it really tells something about how can you just let go things, and how can you be in the moment itself without thinking and stressing about other things. And it can be really helpful when you're as an artist on stage, for example, because when you're on stage, you might be thinking like, okay, shit, I'm facing this guy, I need to do this, or shall I do this, But when you're in such a pressure and you really learned other ways of thinking, it can really help you, because it's just positivity and stuff. But that's just one book. I've read like, for example, 10 books with all of those topics, for example, and it just to increase my personality, if you know what I mean. But when you're developing and when you're increasing and making your personality just better, you will be a better artist for sure. So instead of being a guy that's just watching behind his computer, just watching some beatbox, you can also just do some research about other things that can make you happy, or that can make you evolve in life. And when you're evolving in life, you grow as an artist as well. And that's the thing where I took the most knowledge from.
Absolutely happy that you mentioned the word research. I focus on that every single time. I don't care. I see a plane going by, I'm like, okay, Wikipedia, what was that? Maybe it has nothing. It has nothing to do with beatboxing. Yeah, but for me, that's knowledge. And I don't know. Do you watch anime or anything? I don't know.
Oh yeah,
There,
I kind of watched Attack on Titan, but I didn't continue since season 3. But I still need to watch it.
dude, you should. Mind blowing.
Yeah, I heard.
So there is. I suddenly forgot the name of the movie, but it's by Ghibli, the Ghibli Studios. And when I was watching it, I remember watching it before, but when I watched that dream sequence in the movie, in the animated movie, I'm like, that's not a sound made by an actual airplane. That is human sound. So the director, basically what he did, or the group of people who worked, is the entire thing, and it was a dream sequence. It wasn't like a plane going by, and it felt so real. And I'm like, now that is so amazing. The propeller sound, the everything. You can understand the plane's landing. It felt good. So you discover it makes you feel better. No, it's not Ponyo. Ponyo is this other one. But yes, a lot of them. All right, guys, we're pretty much at the end of the podcast. I have a quick few questions before we let FootboxG go. The 2 questions that we have. I hardly want a tutorial from you. How do you do the sound? Which sound? You have to be specific. I do not know the name. Yeah. Maybe high-pitched bongo drum that you do when you say, "Hey, baby, are you feeling?"
That I just did.
Oh, the one with the one that you learned from Gene, then you made your own version.
Yeah.
It's FootboxG said it, and it's safe. You can learn a sound, and it's not copy when you make a different version of it. And everything that you do was done before. That's how it goes. Another question, tutorial question. Well, my question is you do a thing type of BMG. I can't do that. I'm practicing a lot, but I'm failing again and again. Was he talking about? No, that's a BMG.
I think he's talking about the split snare, right? Like the.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the one you did during the middle school thing as well.
Yeah.
I can't do that. Yeah, I can't do that. I just can't.
Like there's a tutorial on my YouTube channel, but if you want to have more specific details and stuff, you can always contact me, like I said, on my website, or you can contact me on all the social media platforms that you mentioned. I will try to connect with you, and whenever you have problems by achieving something, I can help you. It might be the pitched bongo drum, like MTS said, or Rocky Beatboxer, like the BMG snare and stuff, like the split snare. Yeah, but I can give a small tutorial here right now.
Sure.
The trick is when I'm doing the split snare, I'm not doing the compression from above or putting pressure here. Not doing like this, but I'm doing it all from the middle. So you make kiss position like this. Then you put your teeth together. Then you make sure that you squeeze your top lip and your bottom lip like this. Like you have this cracky sound. And when you make it short, you will achieve. And that's how you create it. But it's true that in the beginning it's hard to find because it's a very specific position. But it's just a matter of practice. But basically that's it.
All right, there you go. You just learned something from FootboxG. Last question from the viewers right now before we go into the last 2 segments of the podcast is last one from Sanvi. How do you let go of the things that are not made for you? Okay, this is a very, very, thank you for asking. Like if you can't do a sound or it's impossible for your anatomy and the type of, the build that you are, or doesn't go with your style, but you love it.
Well, since that I started beatboxing until now, I'm still not able to do the click roll. So that's basically one of the most popular sounds. And I already dealt with it that I cannot do with it, but nowadays I still try to find other ways to kind of achieve it. And it's like I did with the pitched bongo drum. Like when you're trying to just achieve a sound and you fail because of your anatomy or just because you're just not able to find the specific detail while trying to achieving the sound. Just when you're just trying and trying and finding that one small thing that achieves it, you can still
Right.
have a totally other outcoming. For example, if I can mention, I already noticed that when Napalm did the lip roll, everybody want to try to copy that kind of lip roll because it's awesome. So big shout out to Napalm. But I saw that, for example, Beard and his, they also have an awesome lip roll, but it's still kind of, it sounds different. You can have lip rolls that sound so familiar in a way, but when you're just trying to achieve that sound, you can have almost the same result, but it still sounds different. And when you try to copy a sound, for example, and you just don't get it, don't worry, you can have a better result, for example. Or when it just doesn't fit to your style, it could be a great opportunity just to jam along with it, and maybe you can create a totally other style that fits you with those sounds. It's just a matter of experience and of experimenting with those things. But it doesn't mean that it's that you just cannot use it. Feel free, because that's what beatbox is. Pure freedom.
And plus, all of us have different sounds, and you should work on that as well. Things pop up. FootboxG. Well, okay, we will not be taking any more questions. Sorry, Riham, you came at the last moment. I know his routines are awesome. We'll ask him to drop a beat in a bit. But the segment that I mentioned in the early offline was, I'll mention a few countries, and you tell me the sound or describe them in a word in beatboxing terms or whatever you think they sound like. Okay, Japan.
Oh, I think about Batako and Shogo immediately. Those two are awesome. And maybe So-So too.
So what sound would you describe them under? Or what would you say? Like, technical?
Batako,
musical?
It's different. Alternative in a way. Because, Batako is so technical, but he proved in his EP that he's still so musical as well. And Shogo is so not the common beatboxer. Like, he's so musical and technical, but he's not doing the main duck sounds that people are doing nowadays and stuff, you see. So when Japan comes up in my head, I think like, wow, special.
All right. And it's amazing how they do it. Indonesia.
Biggest crowd. Biggest community, for sure.
UK.
Dilo, Reaps One, UK Beatbox Collective, big championship. Great beatbox level.
Funny you mentioned Beatbox Collective because there's an update for that. France.
France, for me, they're the best. I'm sorry.
It's like weird, like up there. Two more countries.
Like I cannot say that that a French beatboxer is the best French beatboxer, but for sure, the French community is the tightest and the most developed, for sure.
Yeah, totally.
No doubt.
US.
Wow, roots. Hype. Different levels. For Napalm, Kenny, Razel, Audical, Inertia, Bloomer. Yeah, man. Unknown.
Unknown, yeah. And the last country will be, they're making waves, and I'm sure South America is just going bonkers, is Chile.
Oh.
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong, it's the country where Mr. Android and Thomas Zachary are coming from.
Yeah.
I always think about beatboxers and stuff, but I try to say what I feel about those things. And about every country that you just named up, I really have a good feeling about those countries because they're really into the beatbox itself. And I'm very happy that Mr. Android and Thomas Zachary, that they're putting the beatbox level also higher and higher and higher. Really cool. But there are also other beatboxers from Chile who are pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Sure.
Every
All right.
country that you named is like crazy. So big up to all of them.
We're looking for so much to happen. Things are happening around the scene. So anyone who's watching this, you guys are doing a great job. And the last part, FootboxG, before I let you go, is a request from all of us: is you drop a beat, and show us some magic.
Okay. Nowadays, I try to show my one of my new routines. Yeah, just let's go. Something like a raptor. Until like a raptor. Yeah.
Oh man, oh man, oh man. FootboxG with his sick routines and everything. Check out all his social media links in the description below. And of course, everything that he has done. We are super happy that you do what you do because we absolutely love it. And as you've seen, you have a lot of fans and people who love the stuff that you do and the beatboxing. And hopefully, someday we'll get to meet you. We'll get to see how the stuff's working out. Maybe even have you here in Bangladesh one day soon. So hopefully,
It would be really dope. I also look forward to see you, BeatBaksho, and all the people that have been commenting here. I will really be pleased to see all of you. And thank you for the invitation, bro.
Well, thank you for being here. Of course, we have Nagibog in the house. A big shout out to the man. He has been helping us in the community the whole time. Even this podcast is happening thanks to Nagibog. So much love to you, brother. Zuhair's like, what the hell did you do? All right, man. Super awesome. Thank you, FootboxG.
Awesome.
Hope to see you very soon. And thank you for giving the time at this time. I will be announcing a lot of stuff after he leaves. So don't go anywhere. Everyone, you're going to get some good news. Once again, FootboxG's, all the social media links in the description below. Follow him and get to know more about him. Okay, FootboxG. God bless you, brother.
Thank you, bro.
Peace out.
See you very soon, and thank you for the invitation.
Likewise. Thank you for giving the time. Peace, yo. Yeah. FootboxG, my God, this is absolutely amazing. Wow, man. Just, wow. What should I do? I love the fact that the beatboxers are so amazing and have so much love for sharing knowledge, and FootboxG just killed it. So big up to the brother, big up to the Belgian scene, big up to everything. His social media links, his YouTube, his website in the description below. Do check it out. And the quick announcements that I want to give, FootboxG just mentioned the Beatbox Collective. Now, what's cool about them? Because they are the next guest. Saturday, we have Beatbox Collective on Beats with Baksho. Oh, yeah. I'm not kidding. I'm seriously not kidding. Ballsy, Bellatrix, and Bay 6, MC Zany, everyone, Hobbit. This is experimental. Yeah, we have the Beatbox Collective. শনিবারে Beatbox Collective থাকবে আমি বিশ্বাস করছি না I'm not kidding বলজিকে প্রশ্ন করতে চাও তুমি বলজির থেকে প্রশ্ন করতে পারবে and তুমি এমসি জেনিকে কিছু জিজ্ঞেস করতে চাও he's going to be right here Bellatrix থেকে কিছু জিজ্ঞেস করতে চাও yes of course and যারা অনেকগুলো পডকাস্ট মিস করেছো you have to watch all the podcasts or else I will not bring you here during the podcast that might what I'm trying to say is if you have a question, if you want to ask something to your favorite beatboxer and you want to be here at podcast, get ready with your questions. You can talk to the Beatbox Collective. I know, I'm not kidding. Zohariam, hey, I'm not kidding. Today, the event is going up tonight. then you'll know I'm not joking at all. Well, if you think I'm joking, just check out Saturday. Yes, Samiha. I know, yeah. And we won MB14. Maybe someday. Someday soon, you never know. I'm not gonna shave this. Shave Corona. No, this is gonna grow. It's gonna grow till here. And MB14, yes. Imtiaz, if you can answer 10 questions that I'll ask you from the last 27 episodes, we'll probably get MB14 for you. Once again, yes, let me announce this very, very quickly. Jara matro join in course, so very late. The Beatbox Collective is going to be my guest on Saturday at 8 p.m. Yes, the 6 people that you're seeing here, they're going to be gracing this place. Yeah, it's going to be super awesome. আমার মাথা খারাপ হয়ে যাচ্ছে দেখতে পাচ্ছ আমার হাত পিছনে আছে ছবির পিছনে yes they're gonna be here Ballsy MC Zany Hobbit Bellatrix and of course Basics Experimental I've loved their stuff seeing everything that they've done and ওরা সব সময় যে বিটবক্স কালেক্টিভ সবাই স্টেজে উঠে একজন সাউন্ড পাস করে এগুলি সবগুলো নিয়ে কথা হবে তোমরা থাকবে and this is happening just because of Beatbox Bangladesh just because of Nagib Hogg and just because of you and you guys being with me from day one. Jara protita podcast dekhecho, I am super thankful and it's a dream come true having someone like them on Beats with Baksho. And of course, arekta news quickly bole feli jara jano na ba already maybe jano but bujhte parcho na jinishta hocche is Streetwise Beatbox Battle Level 1 আজকে হচ্ছে 8 তারিখ so there is 9 and 10 আর 2 দিন বাকি তোমাদের ওয়াইল্ড কার্ড সাবমিশনের জন্য 48 ঘন্টার উপর বাকি আছে to do send it জাজ কে হবে অনেকে জিজ্ঞেস করছো I'm not going to mention it now if you want to know more go to Beatbox Bangladesh Instagram and Facebook and YouTube to check it out and এটা ডিসকর্ডে ব্যাটল হবে 24 তারিখে জুলাই once again যারা জানো না this is it Streetwise Beatbox Battle Level 1 and yeah to সবকিছু এখানে আছে once again see you guys this is BeatBaksho signing out from Beats with Baksho we had FootboxG today next up of course the Beatbox Collective all right yeah bye no I'm not kidding bye